Good morning, guys. Rami here with your second stimulus check update and second stimulus package update for Thursday, September 3rd. In this stimulus update, we'll talk about how Steve Mnuchin lasts longer than White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows with Nancy Pelosi. When it comes to negotiations, I'm talking about negotiations here. Steve Mnuchin had a 36-minute phone call with Nancy Pelosi, which is 11 minutes longer than the conversation with Mark Meadows. So we'll discuss the outcome of that. We'll also cover the huge news about the eviction moratorium coming out from this administration through the CDC, and some important information that you may not know about it that you don't want to miss. So let's get to all the details right after you please hit the like button on the video and subscribe if you haven't already, so I can update you on everything regarding the second stimulus package and second stimulus check, plus more money and finance news. I'm glad that Steve Mnuchin is back in the negotiations again, because he seems to be the leader in this stimulus negotiations, even back to the CARES Act. He has an important role in this. So after his hearing in front of Congress, he had a 36-minute phone conversation with Nancy Pelosi. And remember, he actually said they may go as high as $1.5 trillion for this second stimulus package, making the difference even smaller between what the Republicans want and what the Democrats want. After that conversation, Nancy Pelosi said, "Sadly, this phone call made clear that Democrats and the White House continue to have serious differences, understanding the gravity of the situation that America's working families are facing. House and Senate Democrats have repeatedly offered to compromise. Over a month ago, we said that we would be willing to cut $1 trillion from the HEROES Act if the White House would add $1 trillion to the Senate bill. Last week, we said we would be willing to go down to $2.2 trillion. In our conversation, I reiterated the hope that Republicans will come to the table and work with Democrats to save the lives and livelihoods of the American people." She's still worried also that if they pass something smaller now, that Republicans won't pass anything later. But at this point, this is getting very old, and she's under a lot of heat. This all or nothing attitude is not sitting well with anyone in this country, and not even hundreds of Democrats in Congress who urged her to pass something that includes unemployment assistance and other things to help the suffering American people. At this point, I wouldn't be taking any side here when I say that she's being ridiculous at this point. How can she blame Republicans and say they don't understand what's happening here and we need to save lives? Well, $1,200 stimulus checks, $400 per week unemployment boost, $105 billion for schools, $300 billion for state and local, $45 billion for testing and vaccines. All things Republicans agree to at this point. I would say these things can help save lives and save the economy at the same time. I think what needs to happen now is the Republicans put out a bill that's Democrat friendly. A bill that the 100 or so Democrats in the House who urged Pelosi to pass something would like. And pass that bill in the Senate and take it to the House and have them vote on it without Nancy Pelosi or something. Someone needs to take action here. Nancy Pelosi is the only one that's stopping this package right now, and she's busy getting her hair done, which is a huge scandal right now that she's facing. She's not in a position to blame this administration for not helping the American people, honestly. I mean, again, without taking any sides, but just giving credit where credit is due, and these are the facts. President Trump executive orders helped people with student loans. Then the unemployment executive order put $300 per week in the pockets of unemployed people, at least for a few weeks. I know it's not the greatest thing, but it's better than zero. And now this huge eviction moratorium from the CDC. So the CDC announced a temporary eviction moratorium to prevent the further spread of the virus. Under the order, landlords and property owners are prohibited from evicting certain tenants impacted by the pandemic. Otherwise, they will face high monetary fines or even jail time. This eviction order goes from September 4th, tomorrow, until December 31st, 2020, and it can be modified or extended before the end of the year. There are some things that you need to know about this order. The moratorium applies only to non-payment of rent and will not apply to residents who engage in criminal activity, threaten the health or safety of other residents, damage the property, or violate the lease, other than for non-payment. The order does not forgive rent or prohibit landlords or property owners from charging late fees. So basically, this order is good only if you're not able to pay your rent, and that's the only problem the landlord has with you. We'll get to some details on that. Also, this is not rental assistance. You will owe all this money back when the order expires. So if you're able to pay or even pay some money, try to reach a deal with your landlord. Hopefully there will be some rental assistance and help for landlords in the stimulus package, but for now, this at least delays your eviction until the end of the year. Now, if you're a landlord, this might be a good time to consider a mortgage forbearance and work with your bank to add those payments to the end of the loan. Also, the order does not apply in any state or local area that already has a moratorium on residential evictions. It seems like there are approximately 30 states and localities that have residential eviction protections currently in place due to the pandemic. So there are some requirements that you have to meet in order to qualify. First, you have to submit a signed statement to your landlord, which I will put for you in the description below. There's a link that you can go and you just have to sign it. So here's the qualification requirements. The tenant has used their best efforts to obtain available government assistance for rent or housing. The tenant was eligible to receive an economic impact payment, stimulus check, under the CARES Act, or has an annual income of no more than $99,000 for an individual or $198,000 for a family. The tenant is not able to pay the full rent due to substantial loss of income, wages, or hours, or because of extraordinary out-of-pocket medical expenses. The tenant is using their best efforts to make partial rent payments. The tenant has no other available housing options, and if evicted, would need to move into a new residence shared by other people who live in close quarters, or would have to move into a homeless shelter. So while I'm glad this administration is doing whatever they can to bypass Congress with these executive orders, we ultimately need Congress to come together and finally pass something. I'm very interested to finally see what the Republicans' bill that is supposed to be voted on next week will look like. They're saying that they are drafting it to be Democrat friendly, so crossing my fingers here, this has been dragging for way too long now, and the American people have just had it with the political bickering. And let's not forget, this is an election year. Can you even imagine how much less they would have done if this wasn't an election year? Speaking of which, Mitch Mcconnell, the Senate Majority Leader, said he wants a stimulus package and that every member who's up for re-election who has any hint of vulnerability wants a bill that gets 51 votes. So whether they're doing things just for votes or not, just do something already at this point. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click that notifications bell to be notified whenever I publish new videos and new content for you. And make sure to check the link in the description for the SoFi Money account. It's a checking/savings account, not a stocks account. If you open an account using the link below and deposit $500, you'll get $50 of bonus. Then you can refer your family and friends and get $50 from every referral up to $10,000 per year. The account has no fees, no minimum fees, no overdraft fees, and no ATM fees at over 55,000 ATMs around the world. I love this product. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, don't forget to get your free stock from Robinhood and one free stock now from Webull, potentially worth up to $1,600 when you deposit only $100, which is just like cash. You can take it out anytime you feel like it. Links are in the description below. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.